former Columbia University graduate student arrested by ICE agents after taking part in pro-Palestinian protests is set to be deported to Algeria. We've been following this story since the beginning. This is all according to a top official with the Department of Homeland Security. The move comes after a federal appeals court reversed the lower court's decision that freed the Syrian-born activist from immigration jail. The Trump administration maintains Khalil lied on documents as he applied for permanent U.S. residency and has argued he supports Hamas. Khalil denies he does and says he does not support violence.
All right, folks, so much to talk about tonight. This is a major win for the Trump administration's crackdown on non-citizens, including green card holders, who abused America's hospitality. We're going to get into this. We're going to talk about the ongoing feud. Now President Trump has come out against Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, and Alex Jones. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a lot, folks. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you all as you watch this broadcast. It's time for Pop and Politics. I'm KJ. Let me introduce you to my co-hosts. Of course, we have Nicole Bennett.
Hey, y'all.
And Shelly E.
Hi, everybody.
All right, before we light this fire, do your part, tap that thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and turn on your notifications. We are live here on YouTube. If you're on the go, you can catch us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under the name Pop and Politics. We love our chat. We shout out every super chat. So drop your thoughts, show your love, and join the conversation that the mainstream media wishes didn't exist. This is not just a podcast. This is a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that value freedom. Stand with us and subscribe so we can amplify this rallying call for freedom. All right, ladies, let's set it off. Wow, so much to talk about tonight. Folks, as you come in, hit that like button. It helps to get this video out in front of a wider audience. All right, so let's talk about what we just saw. Yesterday, the Board of Immigration Appeals, part of the DOJ under President Trump, denied Mahmoud Khalil's appeal and issued a final administrative order of removal. All right. Now, he's still here right now. He hasn't been detained or deported yet because I believe there's a separate federal habeas corpus case still ongoing. But he's pretty much, he's on his way. What are your thoughts on this, Nicole?
Do you know, KJ, I hate that we've spent so much money on this. I hate that we've spent so much time. And this is why it's so important that these cases get streamlined, because in this, what's it been, 9 months or so, we could have deported 2,000-3,000 folk. It takes way too long. The evidence is there, clearly there. They have them on video, stumping for Hamas, stumping for all kinds of terror organizations. There's no question, absolutely no question. He's a guest here in our country. He is here at the whim and the will of the Secretary of State. And Marco wants his ass gone. He should have been gone months ago. This is ridiculous. This is a waste of taxpayer money. It's a waste of judicial time. It makes me sick that between him and the so-called Maryland man, we've spent millions of dollars to get rid of what should have never been here in the first place.
Yeah, Shelly, yesterday we talked about these angel moms. They had a huge press conference yesterday. We talked about it last night on KJ Christian Conservative. And oh my gosh, it was so difficult to see. These are illegals that should not be here, that have committed crimes. And so, but we've talked about on this show how we have all of these people here, whether they're visas, whether they're illegal, who are just sucking our system dry. And this is another one. What are your thoughts here?
Let me know when I'm supposed to shed a tear, okay? And then I'll buy a pack of Kleenex to go with it. Again, Nicole's right. These people should have been gone. And whether or not they should have been gone, what makes me even more angry again, is the bureaucracy that plays along with this. Okay. I don't believe he's going to be gone anytime soon.
Nope.
Okay. I don't believe he is. I don't think he is. What's his name? Abrego, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Wherever he is, he's not going to leave the United States anytime soon either. These people, they know how to play our system. And unfortunately, we have legislatures and bureaucrats that go along with them, that play the system along with them. And again, let me remind you, we are paying for it. In a sense, technically, we're paying for our own demise. I've said that before, nothing new. We are paying for our own demise indirectly so, because these bureaucrats, politicians just keep doing anything and everything they can to empower themselves to the detriment of the American people. And let me say, in reminiscence of Barack Obama, we are 5 days away from sending in our fundamental sheets that tell the government how much we made and how much we are not keeping of our own money. About 5 days away.
Yeah. Nicole, do you think that conservatives have done enough with messaging with this? Because here we have the Democrats have really spent a lot of money, of course, going through the nonprofits and things like that. But they have spent a lot of money to keep this guy here. How many people have cried, have begged, who don't have this type of support like he has? And he's not even American.
Here's the reality of the thing. There's always one test case for the Democrats. He's like the canary in the coal mine. What people don't know is while this guy was getting 3-4 helpings of due process on the American taxpayer dime, let's do that, maybe 40 or 50 other rebel rousers on campus were quietly deported. So many Chinese were sent back to China. Here's the deal. They offered them free rides home plus $1,000 once you get to your house, right? You got, I think it's 6 months or so, you got to stay out of the country. And it gives you the opportunity to reapply, right? There was a quote unquote feel good story today. One of the people who self-deported to his country, got back in line, did things the right way. And today was his first day back in the United States with lawful authority. That's the way you're supposed to do it. It's unconscionable to think that while we're spending millions of dollars on these two jackasses, and both of them are criminals, make no mistake, both of them are criminal minded. What about the plain everyday people? The plain every single day American who's out here working Dunkin' Donuts, Aldi, like a regular 9-to-5 job. And their tax money is going to this. This is what their tax money is going to. So this man who has an absolute disdain for this nation, for the women of this nation, for everybody in this nation, we're supporting his defense from our own government. I mean, if that is not a slap in the face, I don't know what is. Immigration, everything about it needs to be overhauled. Every single thing about it needs to be overhauled. We just can't continue at this pace. The American taxpayer is going to run out of money or patience, one of the two.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Folks, sound off in the chat and let us know what you think. I think we have a couple super chats here.
Let's see. We have Kung Fu CJ. Thank you for being our first super chat. Our super chatter. Thank you for your $5. Hello, ladies. I am still here, but to support. Thank you, Kung Fu CJ. You are always supporting us. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Everyone else out there, go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe. Get those numbers up, especially in the first part of the show. It really helps the algorithm. That's what they tell me. But so go ahead and do that. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to stop by www.metroconservativemedia.com to do all of your one-stop shopping.
Absolutely. Get in there and get your shirts. Listen, you'll hear a lot of things probably this weekend, because it'll probably be a fairly slow news cycle, about infighting on the Republican side. Let me tell you, if I could tell you the stories of the infighting on the Democrat side, you would definitely get that shirt. These people are crazy. These people are absolutely out of their damn minds. Wait until you hear some of the gossips that's coming out of DNC camp. This shirt explains it all. Go ahead, merch up. It's a great way to support the channel. It's also a great way to wear your politics without being too confrontational, but a great way to support us. And we appreciate your support. If you get a shirt, if you get a backpack, a crossbody bag, a pillow, send us your picture with your merchandise and we'll put you up on the screen.
Absolutely, folks. Thank you so much. Got another super chatter here.
Yeah, we have Dante. Hi, Dante. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for your $5 super chat. First live show. Thank you, Dante. Glad to be here. Well, come on back, Dante. Keep coming back, and thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. And please, folks, again, as you come in, hit that like button. It helps get this video out in front of a wider audience. We need your help, guys. We have a goal to hit 250,000 subscribers. We can do it, but we need your help. So please, as you watch, share this video. All you got to do is hit that right turn arrow, share it. It'll put you right into your social media, a text message, an email. We want as many people as possible to see this. We got a lot of stuff to cover tonight. Some good news out of Ohio. Principal actually stopped a gunman. That was one of the stories that you all wanted to hear. So we want to cover that tonight and a lot more. We're also covering this chaos going on with Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson. Also, new polling out today, MAGA is still surging and they love President Trump. We're talking about that. And news out tonight, folks, breaking. Folks, they made it. Artemis II crew have safely splashed down off America's West Coast. They have re-entered the atmosphere. They just made history, traveling the furthest out in space than any human. And they have returned. What an exploration there.
Yeah.
What a crew. What do you ladies think about that? They're back. They made it back safely. Thank God.
Yeah, I'm just glad. I'm glad they're back, and I'm sure they have a lot to talk about. And you'll see the media clips coming up, or the media interviews very soon after they get some rest and get their physics, their physicality back on Earth in gravity land.
Yeah,
I can't wait to read the books. Give them a couple years. I can't wait to read the books. What's it like on the dark side of the moon? You know, that's got to be absolutely fascinating. What did you see? What did it feel like? Yeah, I keep telling you, I'd go. If they ask me, I'm going. Then take my pocketbook. I might be a little late for the Wednesday show, though.
All right, folks. Yes, so we will continue to keep you posted as news breaks this evening. But we got to talk about this Chicago Teachers Union president. So she just admitted what many of us have been saying for years. This is not about educating our kids. It's about politics, power, and pushing an agenda. Even saying it's about making sure Black women can sustain life without a husband. Let me tell you, when I initially saw this video, I screamed. Take a look here. This is clip 8.
You're not a political organization. Now, granted, they're conservative groups that have put this out, but I mean, there was one study that showed 80% of your spending is on political activity. You're a political party.
Our activity in this union is to secure contracts that provide smaller classes all across the city with limits for the first time ever. Our political activity is to ensure that Black students have a success plan in order to undo the harm of years of marginal educational opportunities. Our political activity is to make sure that our lowest wage workers, Black women who live on the south and west sides of Chicago, have a wage in which they can pay their rent, they can go to the grocery store, and that they can maintain a standard of living. Our political work is to ensure that women have the ability to sustain life without a husband.
What? Shelly, did you hear what does any of this have to do with making sure you have teachers that can educate children and education in general?
Okay, let me let you all inform you all of something in case you may not have thought this. The title or the name of the organization is Teachers Union, not Students Union. Okay, it's teachers. It's for the benefit, the welfare, the professional political networking of the teachers and the administrators. That's it. So for decades, many Americans, many of us have, maybe we erroneously thought that a teachers union was supposed to look out for the children. No, it's not. The students don't pay the dues. The teachers do. So this for the benefit of the teachers. Like it or not, it is what it is. This lady, it just happened to be able to tell the truth about it. She just came up with it. Kind of like Mondami said what he was going to do when he got into office. She's telling you what her union is doing, and it is not to the benefit of students. This is why about 90% or more of teachers' dues or union dues go to primarily the Democratic Party. Technically speaking, they will support whoever they need to support to get what they want.
Yeah,
that's it.
I don't even understand how that has what she mentioned. What does that have to do with teachers, Nicole? Like supporting teachers.
The which she started off with was probably the talking point that they gave her to saying that having smaller classroom sizes is beneficial to teachers and for students, right? Okay. But that's a good thing. Yeah. But then instead of closing her trap, she just ran off at the mouth and said the quiet part out loud. Yeah, so we want smaller classes and limits across the city for the first time ever. That had nothing to do with raising money. That's legislative. Nothing to do with raising money. But this is really what we do with our money. What we do is we affect elections, because notice she talked about failing Black students. She didn't talk about the white kids they fail, the Hispanic kids they fail. And especially in Chicago, they have a very diverse student body. There's people from all over the world who live in Chicago, and their kids go to those failing schools, right? So she kind of said, what we're going to do is we're going to support candidates who support Black people. And this is what we're here to do, particularly Black women. As we well know that for the Democrats, women are the top of their food chain. Black women, especially. You saw that at their own convention when someone raised a hand to interrupt her. She was like, you can't interrupt me. I'm a Black woman. Like, okay, well, excuse me, Miss Ma'am. It is fascinating to finally hear them saying the truth. Now, how many Chicago teachers are going to opt out of being in the union? Let's see.
This is terrible. I mean, it's ideology. It's not education. I mean, her statement is they're using the schools for social transformation. This is radical feminism all in the nutshell. I mean, and then the thing she said about women. Oh my gosh. I don't want to hear another person. I mean, I know she doesn't speak for all Black women, but I think she speaks for a lot of them. Folks, this is so diabolical. It is so hurtful to the Black community. If this is the thinking that they are pushing on many of our young women, which I think it is. Women don't need a man. Independence equals separation from the family structure. This is what it is. Wow.
But KJ, it affects every community,
right?
Not just the Black community, because when one community fails, all the other communities follow along. I had this conversation with a friend, and he asked me, are Black people really a minority? Because when we're not looking at numbers here, let's look at culture. This was a question that he asked me because he was somewhere that was a rural place, and happened upon these children, playing Kanye music, playing Jay-Z music, just dressed in urban clothes. Dare I say that the United States is getting very homogenous, and they're picking up our culture in some of our trends, in some of our ways, and we're not doing anything to elevate. And that's the problem. What she's saying is, we want Black women who are poor, who live on the south side of Chicago, not to ever have to need a man. And we're going to use our union to do that. What signal is that sending not only to the girls in that class, but for the young men? You're not valuable. We don't need you. We don't need you at all. It's harmful to every community. What happens to us seeps into the ecosystem. It happens to everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's classic Marxist thinking. I mean, the idea that they want to shift dependence away from family and toward institutions so they can control us. We were talking about this yesterday. This is the Democrat agenda in a nutshell. This is why they love bloated government. Okay, they want to get everyone on these social programs. So then they believe that will give them more power. Not even believe, it will.
It will.
While these teachers, these adults push this ideology, what happens? The reading scores drop, math scores drop. And all they care about is continuing to funnel this money through these public institutions into the teachers unions coffers, then into these Democrat politicians.
And they're and honestly, we already know this. 99% of America knows this. The public schools, primarily, the students cannot read, they can't write, they can't do basic math. I mean, I went to the store the other day, I kid you not, and I think it was like, I don't know, $5.12, something like that. I gave the cashier $10.12. Do you know she had to turn around to the manager and ask, look like, and the manager said, yeah, that's right. Just give her back this check. I mean, seriously, a young woman. So we already know this. The students are not getting better by and large, but the unions are getting their coffers filled. And you know what is interesting? It's interesting. It's a cycle of money, but you know that theory, if you will, about keeping your money in your community, a dollar goes around so much. It's a cycle of money. It's that same cycle. Much of it, they might raise money to keep the coffers filled, because if you think about the tax system, the states have to give out refunds, things like that, but they need to refill those coffers. So the union will raise money for the political party. But if you're right, it's a vicious cycle. That same dollar, if you will, cycles through a number of times before it's paid out. And this is what it is. The students are losing out no matter what.
Yeah. And you mentioned cycle. It's a generational. We see this in the generations within our community. I mean, this idea of, marriage is oppressive. We saw this, many of these bourgeois, elite Black women pushing this and the white women really pushing this over the last couple of weeks. This idea that family is outdated, the attack on masculinity and men. I mean, the othering of us as far as Black Americans. We saw this recently with Al Sharpton. Now he's out here now. Nicole, particularly you have been championing the 250th anniversary that's coming up for America. We all have. We're excited about this. Here you have Al Sharpton telling Black folks not to get involved. I have the clip here. Take a look at this. Listen to this mess.
In fact, they're going to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the country July 4th, but that's not our celebration. We were slaves then, and they celebrate signing the Declaration of Independence, 1776. We were not even emancipated until 1863. So I don't know what everybody getting ready for a celebration. That it seems crazy for me to have on the birthday hat at your birthday party. That ain't my party. In fact, I'm thinking Saturday when I do my address to the convention, or calling for something on July 4th, like Frederick Douglass did. Why should we be celebrating that? We may need to do our own rally in Philly or somewhere that day, because that's not our background. They're going to say,
Nicole. You hear what he's saying?
Well, he's a putz. Let's do that. He's an asshat and a putz. He's an old asshat and a putz. Here's the thing. His grift depends heavily on keeping Black people in a slaved mentality. His entire shill requires Black people to have never moved past the indignity of slavery. The celebration that we're having for America, A250 celebration, is not a celebration of just white America. It is a celebration of all America. Because although, yes, we started off a little raggedy in this country, make no mistake, American slavery was absolutely horrific. But look how far we've come. Look how far we've come. And he can't find it in his little raggedy ass heart to celebrate something that he's right. He shouldn't come to somebody's birthday party and celebrate somebody else, because it is incredibly selfish of him for it only to be about him with his wealthy ass. He sits on these American TVs and use that First Amendment right to flap that trap any old way he wants to, but can't stand up and cheer for the very document that gives him the right to do that? Really? Really? I guess he's still, boycotting Target. I guess that's not where he's going to be. They're not going to be nowhere near no Targets, and probably nowhere in Philadelphia. The entire city is going to be electric with parties on the 4th of July. Every place in this nation is going to celebrate not one little piece of American history, but how far we've come as a nation. And if he can't see that, then he's just not looking. Again, he's still grifting. But I refuse to be a slave for Al Sharpton. Me and my family have since moved on from the early 1800s, bro. You should come and join us. It's 2026 now.
Yeah, Shelley, what are your thoughts there?
First of all, he mentioned Frederick Douglass, of course, his famous essay, "What to the Slave is the 4th of July." Okay. Mm-hmm. Many people have misapplied, misinterpreted, if you will, what Frederick Douglass was saying. Yes, he gave a critique of slavery, of the Constitution, or being the misapplication of the Constitution at that time when he wrote it. But his conclusion was basically an encouragement and urging that every American, founders, congressmen, whomever, we need to take the Constitution at its word. And you will find no pro-slavery documentation, if you will, in the Constitution. So he gave a criticism. He gave a critique. He gave a rightful spanking, if you will, because the Constitution was not upheld with slavery. All that said, he did not disdain America. He did not disdain his country. Hell, he went on to hobnob with Abraham Lincoln. Okay, come on, Al Sharpton, you are worth more than $1 million according to most reports, and yet you're sitting here telling Black Americans, truth be told, you were never a slave.
Thank you.
Neither was none of us on it. We were never slaves. I wasn't. Yes, some of my ancestors were, however far down the line they were, but I was never a slave. I thank God that I was not, and that they endured such horrendous treatment. But here we are, like Frederick Douglass. Al Sharpton needs to take that half greasy perm, whatever he did, just cut his hair off, because I'm sick of seeing half perm and half bald. Just cut his hair off, and stop with this claptrap. Just cut it out, because that's all it is. It does nothing. It's only elevating himself. It's only keeping his grift, if you will, going. And that woman sitting there, what did she have on, a pastor's robe?
No, it was just ugly.
I think she had on a pastor's robe and
no, she had on some type of pantsuit, but she looked like some big
with a blouse.
Yeah. These people make me sick. I am so sick of these roaches in the Democrat Party, and he's King Cockroach. That's what he is. He goes around here grifting, and let's talk about what he's saying, because so he's saying we shouldn't take part because we, as Black Americans, we weren't part of this of this idea of America. We were slaves and all this type of stuff. But he chooses to take part in everything white in this United States. He lives around white people. He works for the white man on MSNBC. All right. He takes that white man's check. He's perming his hair to look like a white man. All right. So they're doing this to push a grift on people that fall for it. And I hope Black folks are not falling for this. Our ancestors, y'all like to talk about the ancestors. They would be rolling over in their grave.
Yes, they would.
If they heard how these people talk about them. Christmas addicts, first to die in the American Revolution. All the Black soldiers who fought for independence. And now we can all stand up there as homeowners, as educated Black people in Black institutions and white institutions for generations, can say that we can celebrate the founding of this United States of America. And he's sitting there trying to other us. Go back to the hole you came out of, you cockroach. He makes me sick. I can't stand people like him. Evie, I talked to you about this. I can't stand people. They just want us to continue to be enslaved in our minds. This is what they want. And sadly, it's a lot of people that are. The chains are just in the mentality, or the mental state is in chains.
Well, those chains come with a check. For most of them, those chains come with a check. Right. You know, here's the thing. Being free, if you've never known freedom, can be scary. So I give people a little bit of grace. I mean, a smidge of grace, right? Because going from not having to worry about anything Uncle Sam's going to provide for you to getting out here and earning it can be devastating. So why not have these so-called civil rights leaders actually help make that transition? Do you want to know why? Because when people are free, they don't need you. They don't need you sing-songing, walking with your pimp, your limp. They don't need your rally cries and your old Negro spirituals. They no longer need that because they're standing under God's covenant. I hate to bring religion into this, but he professes himself to be some sort of reverend. I don't want to be behind him in line to see St. Peter. I tell you that. No. He's going to be there for a long, long time. I don't want to be around him when the lightning bolt comes for that ass. The thing that makes me craziest is he knows damn well what he's doing. He knows full well that if he rings that bell, that there's a certain subculture within our community that's going to snap to and do whatever he say do, whatever he says to do. And that's what's got to change in this culture. That's what's got to change. People have to start thinking for themselves. He wants you to boycott the place where you work. So now you're out of a job, but his limo's picking him up in 10 minutes.
Absolutely.
He's going back to the minivan.
Has he ever apologized to Tawana Brawley? Has he ever apologized to her? I mean, the young girl, I think she's come out a number of times and felt bad for what happened. But has he come out to apologize how he used her? A young girl, he had feces put on that girl and made her, I think, in a dumpster, wherever they found her, and of course lied on the cop. But has he ever apologized to her? Truth be told, Black people, more so than I'm going to say maybe white people ever did, keep Black people enslaved, and certainly mentally.
Yeah, it just breaks my heart, the people who listen to him as if he's some sort of authority. They don't see the dichotomy of this man, that he wants you to keep a slave mindset while he's living comfortable in 2026. It's remarkable.
And the thing that really, it's really sad. It breaks my heart for people to listen to people like him and believe them. Because folks, when we disengage, then other folks define our narratives. You know, this 250th anniversary, it's a big moment. It's a cultural moment. It's a political moment. Okay. And if you don't show up for America's story, then don't be surprised when your chapter gets erased. We are patriots. This is what I love. You know, I've told this story before. We go around some of our white friends, and you know, these are conservatives, and you know, most Black people vote Democrat. And so we have one friend when we go around them, and when we, you know, he's already around some of his other friends, and we'll come and he'll say, wait a minute, y'all. He was like, first, I've got to say, these people are patriots. And he said it with so much pride. I mean, it's like you're in a club, you know, because most people would see us and they think we're Democrats, you know, and they think, oh, I got to start talk a little way. And when they say that, then everything, oh, yeah, well, we should talk about this and talk about that. Folks, this is what we have to reclaim our patriotism, because it's power. You know, separate Black identity from American identity that's been pushed on us. That is a false narrative. All right. Black Americans have been among the most patriotic in this country. Buffalo Soldiers, World War II vets. Claim this. This is part of our history. We shouldn't let them other us. This is our country too. Our parents, we're foundational Black Americans. It's just sad the way they do this. It really is. It's very frustrating and very infuriating, you know.
Yeah,
It's just sad. It really is sad because, again, the story of our nation is not of one race, one community over another. The story of our nation is us together. We have come a very long way. And from that dark moment in our history, we've grown so great, so big, so strong that we've impacted the entire world. Do you know that? We've impacted the entire world. And it is short-sighted for him as a quote unquote civil rights leader to ask people to carve themselves out of the history that their families have earned.
Right.
Our families have earned our place here in this nation. We have come up together, good, bad, or indifferent. The story of America is the story of togetherness, not of division. It is not.
Nope.
We are one country, one nation under God. We meant that. One nation.
Yeah. Sound off in the chat. Let us know what you all think about Al Sharpton's comments. We would love to hear what you guys think. We have some super chatters here already, Shelly.
All right, we have C.S. Russell. Thank you. It sounds like a new person, but thank you for coming. Thank you for your $5. Good evening, ladies from Albany. I love your show and watch every chance I get. Thank you so much for stopping by. Yanni Body. Hi, Yanni. Thank you for $20. Eating my lunch and enjoying the show. I can't type much in the chat, but I'm here. Al Sharpton can go straight to hell.
That part.
Come on, sis. Thank you. Tell us how you really feel, Yanni.
Yeah.
Thank you all, everybody. In the chat land, go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the notification bell as well. And again, remember, we have a Discord channel. We also have our website where you can find all of this information in one stop, one setting. And Nicole mentioned the merchandise, but let me remind you, snap a picture in y'all merchandise, send it in, and we will shout you out.
All right. Well, somebody on our on the YouTube page, the community page, and you folks, you got to check out our YouTube community page. It's a great way to connect with us as well as Discord. But particularly on the community page today, we put out what you guys wanted us to talk about tonight. And I forgot who said it, but somebody said there was a great story, I believe in Ohio, about a principal who tackled a would-be mass shooter. Well, we're going to talk about it. Take a look. This is clip 10.
A very different story today. Principal Moore didn't do what he did here yesterday. Now, I spoke with his pastor today, and he says that he was at the hospital. He went to go see the principal yesterday. He prayed with him, and he said he is expected to be okay. He said that the bullet just kind of grazed his knee, but everybody's grateful after what happened.
That was a very heroic act.
The heroic act that has the Pauls Valley community grateful for Principal Kirk Moore tonight, jumping into action and tackling the former student who investigators say tried to kill him and other students.
He is definitely the type of guy to do that. Some student was to get harmed, he would definitely take a bullet for him. I believe that.
That's what other grads say about him.
As soon as the bell rang and all the students were going to class, he was outside the office. He interacted with students in the lobby. He was friendly.
We also spoke to some who knew him most of his life.
Probably 55 years longer.
Harold Markham and Principal Moore went to school together and both graduated from Pauls Valley themselves. Long before he came back to coach, then later lead as assistant principal before becoming principal in 2021. Harold says what he did Tuesday just speaks to the type of person he is.
He's just a great guy. He really is. He really knows the kids. I'd lost a son about 4 years ago, and he set up the whole high school and everything for his funeral.
This is a look at a memorial the principal made for Harold's son. It sits in a courtyard on campus. The principal showing sympathy when it was needed and strength when the situation calls for that, too.
We're praying for you, Kirk, and get better, my man. Can't wait to see you.
And I did also reach out to family. Still waiting to hear back. Obviously, they're dealing with a lot right now. But speaking with the pastor, he said that Principal Moore is also a private person, so he declined to comment at this time. The school, though, has obtained an attorney. We're waiting to hear back from them for comment as well. For now, live in Pauls Valley, Shantan Navarro, KFCO 5 News.
Wow. So you guys, I don't think the story really talked about it, but a 20-year-old former student walked into the school lobby armed with a gun, and Hawkins he had a grudge. This is the guy. He had some grudge against the principal and planned to attack them, wanted to kill students and the faculty. He fired multiple rounds and even pointed a gun at a student. Now, this principal heard the shots, charged out of his office, tackled this guy, wrestled him to the ground on a bench in the foyer, and disarmed him by ripping the pistol from his hand. What a story, Shelley. What are your thoughts there?
Thank God. I mean, no one was injured, no students, certainly. Thank God for that principal. I guess the only question I would have is, how would he get in the building? Did someone just let him in, buzz him in? I don't know. But again, I advocate, I've been saying this for a while, off and on at least, we need to have armed security, several of them in every school in America.
Yeah. Nicole, what are your thoughts here?
Well, what a man, man, what a man. This could have been a completely different story. If not for the actions of this quick thinking, virile man who had no problem taking this punk to the ground and ripping the gun away. But it does give us pause to think about, again, the hardening of our schools. And I know people don't like, when we say that term, hardening of schools, but the private school that my daughter went to way back was already hardened. You couldn't get on campus unless you belonged on campus. And then there was several checkpoints. And then once you got past the checkpoints, you had to wait to be buzzed in. And once you got buzzed in, you had to wait to be buzzed in again. And the kids felt very, very safe. They had no regard for how it, quote unquote, to adults kind of looked like a little prison. But what it looked like to me is that once I put my daughter in that school, I'd be able to come and pick her up later on that day. That's what it looked like to me.
My daughter's school too. Armed officers,
absolutely,
walking around the campus all day long. So guns there, children that were not afraid of seeing a gun on
No.
Yeah, absolutely. And we, as you mentioned, as the story mentioned, the principal was shot in the leg during the struggle, but he was able to hold this gunman down until other staff helped him subdue him. Now, the latest update is he was airlifted, treated for non-life-threatening gunshot wound, and released from the hospital today. But this shooter is facing, of course, serious charges. Shooting with the intent to kill, pointing a firearm, and unlawful carry. So thank God for this principal, and we pray that he has a speedy recovery.
Amen. I'm glad that he's okay, because again, this story could have been bad.
Yeah, far worse. So yeah, I believe we have some super chatters. Did we get everybody?
I think we got everybody so far.
Oh, good. Okay, folks, as you come in, hit that like button. It helps to get this video out in front of a wider audience, and we really appreciate the support. Your super chats help to keep us online. Also, we don't have advertisers or sponsors for this show. We're not big like the Daily Wire and some of these other leftist shops. We depend on you all, so we appreciate each and every super chat. Thank you guys so much for supporting and watching. Don't forget to share this video. Folks, we are have a goal to hit 250,000 subscribers. We can do it, but we need your help. So definitely share this broadcast on your social media, on your Reddit, on your text messages and your emails. Send it to your liberal friends. Let them know what's going on. All right.
Join us in our Discord too. So tomorrow is going to be, is it tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow's going to be a big day, a big day for the ladies of Pop and Politics. We're having a girls' day, and it's going to be something to see. So I'll be posting things to Discord. And if you really, really want to see us let our hair down, so to speak, tomorrow's going to be that day. In the meantime, get you some merch to celebrate A250. I don't care what that jackass said. Get you a shirt. Get you a shirt. Celebrate this wonderful, beautiful, amazing, God-fearing country of ours. And this is the great way to help support the channel. But joining us on this Discord, there's probably a 99.99% chance that sometime tomorrow there will be video of dancing, singing, and probably some hooting and hollering too. Heavy on the hooting and hollering.
Yep,
Really
absolutely.
dancing already. We ain't even there yet, Chels. We're not even there yet.
Yes, indeed. Yes, and you put some great stuff on Discord, Nicole. And I put something on there today for the first time, so definitely check us out.
Today was your first day putting in the Discord?
Well, no, I had commented before, but I did do something today.
Right.
Yes,
I've only done it once, I think, maybe twice.
Yes, yeah. So definitely check us out on the Discord. All right. So folks, again, come on in, hit that like button. We have over 300 people watching. We need to get these likes up. So please come on in and hit that like button. All right. So let's move right along to the war on Trump. Man, poor President Trump is fighting a war. He's fighting battles and all over the place. Literally Iran and within America, folks, from the left and the right. In a blistering 482-word post. Well, before we start off of that, this was a really cool rant. I would call it a rant message that this gentleman said about the conservative movement. Take a look. This is clip 1.
It sucks to feel like your team is going to lose, especially when you did everything in your power to try to help them win. But maybe all this quote unquote infighting going on right now is the exact thing that we need. Maybe this is the return to individualism that we finally need. Remember back in 2016, it was all about, oh, you only watch Fox News, or oh, you only watch CNN. Now there's so many different factions who are like, oh, well, I'm on team Candace, I'm on team Tucker, I'm on team Trump, I'm on team this, I'm on team that. I thought we were all supposed to be on Team America. Now, are there some things that Trump does that you could argue are not in America's best interests? Absolutely. And the beautiful thing about being on the right is that we actually feel bold enough to call our elected officials out and demand better. Many on the left, we know, do not do this. But the fact of the matter is now we've got people who are wringing their hands or saying they're done with the process altogether. And I understand that level of frustration. I truly do. But what I will tell you is this. There has never been a better time to return to individualism and stop caring what influencers might think, myself included. You might not agree with me all the time, and that's okay. I wouldn't want you to, because the minute you start trying to have someone else say everything that you want them to say, then you shrug off your own responsibility to be an individual yourself. And I think that we need to return to more of that. So yes, we're seeing all of this infighting right now, and it feels like the sky is falling. But if anything, this should encourage you to do more of your own due diligence, to stop looking to an influencer, this person or that person to save you. Focus on what's most important to you in your own state, in your own city, because ultimately that is going to be what dictates your quality of life or not. So those are my thoughts. Yeah, I know it feels like the sky is falling. Who knows if we still have time to actually correct course before the midterms, but that's going to be wholly dependent on us taking our own agency back and not letting other individuals steer our emotions. So those are my thoughts. Hopefully you agree. Even if you don't, let me know in the comment section down below. We will get through this together, for better or for worse, but ultimately we should all be on Team America.
Wow, I really thought that was good. What were you saying, Shelley?
When I heard him, I said, that sounds like something familiar, something that I have said similarly since last year. Number one, that we need to have these debates, discussions, disputes on the right, which is what he's talking about. I've been saying that. I've also been one to say, you know what, your individual, your freedom, it matters. And regardless of what these influencers say, I mean, they can't necessarily go into the polls with you. So I was like, wait a minute, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, I mean, heard that somewhere before, right?
Yeah, I heard it somewhere before. Maybe, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what is he talking about? So, folks, I mean, this is getting out of hand, really. It's actually gotten worse tonight. So we talked about it a little bit back and forth over the last couple of weeks. There have been, some of the big influencers, some of the largest influencers in conservative media. Particularly Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones, if you want to call him on the conservative side, have been going in on President Trump. And it hasn't really started in the Iran war. It's been going on now really for the last year. All right.
Since his reelection.
Yeah. Since
Imagine that. Imagine that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's been a solid 11 months. That's what it's been. A solid 11 months.
Yeah, actually, you're right. It's been since re-election. They have been going in on President Trump. And so tonight again, well, let's go take this in order. So in a blistering 482-word post, President Trump, he basically unloaded on Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, and Alex Jones, calling them losers. We have, I believe we have the image here. Let me see. Do we have image two? I mean, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but he called them losers, just trying to latch on to MAGA, stupid people with low IQs whose family know it too. He said Tucker needs a good psychiatrist. He labeled Candace crazy. Also said that she is France's wife, the president of France, Brigitte Macron, which is his wife, looks better than her, which is Candace. He also said he ripped Alex Jones for spouting some of the dumbest things. And he reminded Megyn she got nasty about Rosie O'Donnell back in the day. All right. So why the rage? Because again, as I mentioned, for quite some time now, they have been criticizing him. Most recently, they don't agree with his decision to attack Iran. As we've mentioned, Iran has been and is the number one state sponsor of terror. And he was trying to stop them from getting a nuclear weapon. He didn't mince words. I mean, he called them nut jobs, troublemakers. He said their views are opposite of MAGA. So before we really get into this, is he right? Is he right, Nicole?
Well, it sounds like
are their views opposite than of MAGA?
Of course, without question. But here's the beauty. We just talked about this a second ago. The beauty of robust debate is that you're entitled to your opinion and you can have it. And listen, I would fight to the death for you to have an opinion opposite of mine. This is how we get from walking in lockstep and being a monolith to being people who have ideas, right? Everybody can bring something to the soup. Now, does that mean I'm gonna like your peanut butter and my tomato soup? Absolutely not. But your right to have peanut butter is something that I will help defend to the death. This is what it's supposed to be, folks. What they call infighting, what they call people, bad mouthing and backlashing. This is what democracy is supposed to look like. It's messy. It's messy when I get to have an opinion. It gets messy on this show. When Shelly has an opinion and you have an opinion and you don't like each other's opinion and everybody says, I don't like it. And you bicker just a little bit and then you push forward, right? This is how it's supposed to happen.
Let me jump in there because I agree with what you're saying. I 100% agree with what you're saying. Where my issue is, again, we all disagree on multiple issues on this show, but I still know that you, Nicole, and you, Shelly, are you're Republicans. You're on the right. You're patriots. And for the most part, you still back President Trump. Okay. The difference here is with this crew, not so much Megyn Kelly, even though I don't like her, for something else, but Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, I don't even count Alex Jones. Those two, their rhetoric is like, it's anti-American. It's anti-American, anti-Christian. I mean, they have used their platforms to push up radical Islam. I mean, and called President Trump. I mean, Candace Owens said that he was unhinged. I mean, she's basically calling for impeachment.
Yeah,
this is not just critique. This is actually left. You're like rooting for the other side. So this is where I say, I don't mind critique. We always have critique. This is something else. So,
with those two, I agree. Right? I absolutely agree.
Yeah, this is something else, and that's where my issue comes in. But let's talk about it. We have before we go more, take a look at this next clip. This is a friend of the show as well, and a conservative, and he's giving a different perspective also. This is clip 3.
You want to know one of the reasons that Alex Jones, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, and the rest of them are upset at President Trump is because you claiming to be America first, Mr. President, but very little has been done to deal with the domestic issues in the United States of America. The housing crisis, the unaffordability of housing, the unaffordability to live and survive and thrive in the United States of America. Meanwhile, you always are able to find the money to continue a war in Iran, to the tune of $200+ billion. That to me doesn't sit well. And as somebody that is genuinely America first, it don't sit well with me that you're turning on some of the very people that busted their ass to help get you elected, including an Alex Jones, including a Candace Owens. Let me make this abundantly clear. The reason that I voted for President Trump was because he was a political outsider. He ran on a populist campaign that said he was going to drain the swamp. Swamp ain't been drained. If anything, the swamp has been more ingrained into the American government's fabric. And I am sick of it, and I will call it out. I will call it out. Do I agree with everything from Candace Owens says? No. Do I agree with everything that comes out of Alex Jones's mouth? No. But I will tell you this. Specifically, particularly as it relates to Alex Jones. Alex Jones has done more to expose the deep state than anybody that I know of. Anybody. He exposed Bilderberg. He exposed the globalist corporations and the conglomerates. He did it all. But the fact is, to be America first means you need to put the interest of American citizens over everybody else. Period. Point blank in the story. That is not what has been happening recently with the Trump administration, and I would be remiss if I did not call it out. It amazes me that when it's time to go to war, we can find $200 billion. When it's time to deal with poverty, when it's time to actually make housing more affordable, when it's time to do more than pass one big, beautiful bill that caps tax cuts or caps overtime tax cuts at $10,000 and yet still gives the largest percentage of tax cuts to the wealthiest Americans, not truly the middle class, that doesn't sit well. It's convenient. It's politically convenient. We can find money when it's time to go to war, physically, on the ground. But when it's time to go to war against poverty and make America more affordable, now all of a sudden, well, we got to find the money.
Ooh, you guys are going off in the chat. Wow. All right. So we have him with us tonight. Austin.
How are you?
Hi,
Hello,
Austin.
how are you?
Doing well. I've been catching a lot of heat behind that take. People are saying that I'm a closeted leftist. I'm trying to tell them. I'm just like, no, it's not that at all. I'm an honest person. I'm a different kind of Republican. This is why I've started to call myself a Christian populist more. The fact is, President Trump made a series of promises to the American people, and we have a right to say that we do not feel that these are promises kept. I mean, this is what I would demand. I would demand the same scrutiny if Barack Obama was still in office. I would demand the same scrutiny if Biden was still in office. If you vote for a candidate, you have the right to critique your candidate, especially when you feel that they are not living up to the standards that they said or the campaign rhetoric that they ran on. If that makes me a closet leftist, then so be it.
Well, I'm not for the name calling. I don't think that's, a good way to get good discussion. But I want to start off this by saying, I consider we're all family here. We are all family here on this podcast. I'm the oldest of 4. And when I'm talking to my sisters and brothers, I tell them how it is. I speak my mind, and then we hash it out. And then after that, we go and get something to eat. I gotta say, I 100% disagree with your take there, and let me tell you why. Okay, so one, we know President Trump, when he came into office, has he been there 14 months? He's been there about 14 months. Yes. And he signed 255 executive orders. Most of them were for domestic policy. All right. He's rammed through major legislation. He's transformed the border, the economy, energy. I mean, he's the DOJ thing with government waste. Now, whether or not the Congress, did what they were supposed to do is another thing. But President Trump has done a lot domestically for this country. I don't understand where you're coming from there.
Well, here's what to your point. Let me respond to that. The president signed 252 executive orders. What is an executive order? It is a directive issued to federal agencies. The president of the United States' job should be to create enough unity between both parties to where they can get things accomplished for the American people. But what we're seeing with the war in Iran, what we saw with the border, that was a win for President Trump. Absolutely. The border was a win. He said he was going to close the border. He closed the border. He said that he would work to reduce inflation, and inflation has reduced under his administration more than it did under Biden. These are wins that I give the president. But what I'm saying is the current way in which it still seems that foreign policy and foreign affairs are being put ahead of the needs of the everyday American middle class. If you're going to tell me that that is not what's happening and that that's not a problem, then that's not having a fair conversation. We can give the president wins in one area, but we have to hold him accountable in another. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I want to get you ladies' opinion, Shelley.
Thank you, Austin, for finally getting here. Look, I loved your passion with that, and I agree with both of you. President Trump signed those orders. I've been saying since President Trump has been in office again, Congress has not done its job. We have a weak Republican Party. No news there. We've had one before, but they have not done to put into codify those executive orders that will significantly benefit the middle class, the working class, if you will, in America. That's number one. Number two, I'm going to say mixed on this Iran war. I'm mixed because, number one, I'm a veteran. I actually served in the war, so I wholeheartedly support.
And thank you for your service, by the way.
Thank you. Number one, I wholeheartedly support our troops. I want President Trump to be successful in that he is the commander-in-chief of the United States military. Point blank, I want that. I'm mixed on the side that I think it was a total distraction to do this right now as it relates to the midterms and going forward into 2028, that we have a whole lot more that we can do and that we are putting up to lose. That's where my conflict comes in right now, right? So I understand your passion. I am all for, I have been for the debate, if you will, and sometimes I criticize our side. People don't like it, but I do. If we cannot criticize our own, this is the rule. When politicians change, we should change with them. We should change out, like you said, our critique. I don't care what party it is. And this is where I am today. April the 10th. This is where I am today. So I get called names too. I don't care. I agree with KJ. He signed those orders. I agree with you. Certainly your passion behind what you were saying. The right, we need to hold our side accountable. The same accountability that we would do and call for on the left.
And that's all I'm saying.
What are your thoughts? I want to get Nicole in here. What are your thoughts, Nicole?
So maybe just a little different, because America first doesn't mean America only. Right. So this is a big debate when you're in very conservative corners. There are people who are extraordinarily conservative who are close to being isolationist. And listen, I'm one of them. You guys have heard me say over and over again, no boots on the ground. We don't want to do any nation building. We got stuff to do here at home. Right. But the caveat is, when you have the opportunity to take evil off the planet, take it, but keep it short, keep it neat. This so-called war has been less than 60 days, and we're wrapping up. We've got 36. An off ramp. We're getting out of there, right? He says he's going to keep some tankers and some Navy guys in the area just in case it gets a little froggy. However, much like you, I want it over. Let's move forward. Domestically, there's a lot of things that we need to take care of. Make no mistake.
Mr. Cole, I want to say this very quickly. That's exactly how I would have handled the Iran situation. I'm not against the United States using military action when it's justified. The Iranian government slaughtered 50,000 of its own citizens. If you have the power to stop or combat an evil like that and you do nothing, you're a coward and you're horrendous as a president. He did the right thing, intervening for that situation without question. What I'm looking at, though, still is the overall, what we've seen repeatedly in American history is this over inserting of the military and over dominance of the military industrial complex. The United States has operated on a war-based economy for the last 60 years at minimum. That has to stop. There must come a point in our nation's history where we, the American people, tell our political leaders, can you put us first and stop prioritizing warmongering? This is exactly what the military general, I believe he was a military general, Smelly D. Butler, warned about when he said that war is a racket. He said that whether we like it or not, war is the only economic activity in which the losses are reckoned in lives, but the profits purely almost in dollars. So that we've operated that way, and it has not been beneficial for the American middle class, except the elites.
And that's true.
That's not America first.
Again, some of these very conservative corners I'm talking to you about, last name Cheney, they're warmongers for a reason. They have made legacy, generational wealth beyond our wildest dreams on the back of our warfighters. Make no mistake. And you're absolutely right about that. But the problem is that these are the people who also hold the keys to the U.S. Senate. These are the people who also hold the keys to the Democrat Party and the Republican Party. These are the people that the conversation changes when they walk in the room. So how do we fix it? Because everybody's good at putting your finger on a problem, but here's the
how
solution.
you fix it. Here's how you fix it. You really want to know how to fix what's wrong with this country. The American people need a genuine political revolution of values, like Martin Luther King Jr. described in 1967 before he was assassinated. He said that if we are not careful, we will sleep through a great revolution. And one of the things that he advocated for was that Americans needed to, one, this is what he said: Black men needed to sign with pen and ink of self-asserted manhood their own psychological emancipation proclamation. Secondly, we need to strengthen Black institutions. If we did those two things, that would give us as Black Americans the foundation to strengthen our own communal numbers, strengthen our sense of spirit within our own community to where we could combat some of the injustices that we're seeing. For the past 60 to 70 years, everybody's been fighting for what they want in America politically. And our race in particular has struggled so hard because, one, in order to combat a problem, you have to, in this case, outpace the problem numerically. So the solution is you get somebody that is locked in with the way that Christ teaches us to live and run for office. That's how you do it. And somebody has to somebody has to set the example and then create an example that everybody else follows. That's how
I think the biggest problem that we have, and we talked about it at the top of the show, are the largesse of government. So the government is just too big. And I think the number one issue within the Black community, we're hooked on these social programs. We don't talk enough about businesses and business ownership, entrepreneurship. We're geared towards W-2, becoming a W-2 employee instead of 1099s and owning your own business. So, and that's all throughout the education system. We talked about how these teachers unions in general, have totally just taken over within our communities, due to this a large amount of money with NGOs and things like that from the government. It's all a grift. So we got to disconnect from government in general. But just to take it back to, this Iran issue and President Trump, can we talk about this with a little bit of context? President Trump is not one. He has never been a Cheney. He has never been a Bush. Right. He is not a warmonger. He is not. We know this from his history, from his past. I mean, people are going off on the things he said on social media recently. This has been him from the very time he stepped his foot in politics. Okay, so
but
he's not a warmonger.
Okay. There's this phrase that you always supposed to be in. There's this stage of life you're supposed to always be in. My dad always says growth and development. Now, the first Trump term, he said a lot of things that was absolutely outlandish. He couldn't control his fingers, right? You would think that when you come back to the presidency, you would tone some of that heat and some of that rhetoric down just a little bit. But no, he said he essentially said he would wipe 92 million people off the face of the planet. Does that make sense? Even as a joke.
Well, you're talking to the wrong one here, because
but you're the president of the United States.
You guys know, I'll say it again. During the primary, I was a DeSantis backer. Okay. And one of the things I said about this, I said that President Trump was going to get on Twitter. He was going to get on X and all these, these social media, and he was going to go crazy. I talked about this, and you guys all said, oh, this is Trump. This is what he's going to do. This is what y'all loved. Candace Owens, Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson. This is what y'all love. This is what y'all loved about him, because he said what he means and he means what he says. All right. He is doing, but now he's the president. And I'm one where, You know, if I back a horse, I'm backing the horse. Now, unless he does something like really crazy, I look at this from there's nobody else who is going to get us through this other than President Trump. And what I see as of right now is people like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson don't care about this country. They are now siphoning leftists into their algorithms. So they're looking at dollar signs.
So let me say this.
Now they're speaking to leftists more so actually than conservatives. And because this is what's lining their pockets right now. And Megyn Kelly.
Right. So Austin, I'm sorry. In addition, let me tell you this. I voted for Trump 3 times. Okay.
So did I.
3 times. So right. I don't regret that at all. Could he speak better or not say some things? Absolutely. My position with the Tucker Carlsons, the Candace, I don't give a damn about them. They're not in office. I didn't vote for them. I don't care who they talk to, who their algorithm is. You know why? Because everybody on social media is trying to make a buck. So I don't have to agree with them. Much of it I don't. I don't have to agree with them, support them. They get to say, again, I took an oath with this flag. They get to say whatever they want to whomever they want. And whoever wants to give them money, fine. But Candace and Tucker and Megyn and Alex and whomever, they're not in office. They didn't get my vote. So I don't even like to take the time to give them, if you will, to address them, whether I agree or disagree. They take away the time, not just siphoning maybe leftists or whomever.
Well, see, but the thing is this though, Ms. Shelley, the thing is when you look at social media is a business, but social media now deals in the business of delivering truth as well. So as the president still, you should conduct yourself in a manner reflective of the respect of the office. That's what I'm saying. And I feel like to call out essentially podcasters, because that's what they are, it's a waste of presidential time. Your attention need to be about the business of the nation, not responding to people because they have an opinion that they don't like you. That you cannot, again, Trump is Trump. I knew what I was getting when I voted for him 3 times, just like you. Don't mean I like it all the time. And the older that I'm getting and the more politically aware I'm becoming, if you will, it's like some of this shit, I see why these leftists were saying what they say. I get it. It's nothing. I would still, let me make this abundantly clear. I would still, in a heartbeat, vote for Donald Trump over Kamala Harris. I make no mistake about it, in a heartbeat. But because you're picking between still the lesser of 2 non-goods. I won't use the other word. The lesser of 2 non-goods. So that's all.
Yeah, Nicole, did you have something?
I do. I like the midnight tweets. Listen. I'm from Pittsburgh. I like spicy things. Let's just keep it a buck. And again, he wasn't talking to y'all. I keep telling people this. He was not talking to you. He was not talking to you. You understand what was happening in the moment. Given some context, you may feel a different way. He's communicating through Pakistan via Truth Social to the Iranian government, who said what they were going to do was chain children and women around their bridges and power plants to protect them from the war they've started with us 47 years ago. Right? Now, I don't know whether soft language, or maybe he could have did like a strongly worded letter, as per my last email, signed Donald J. Trump. Sometimes you gotta, again, take your earrings out, pull you a ponytail, and tell him who you really are. I stand by this man's anger in this moment. Remember, he also was up watching this whole thing with the pilots. You know, they were quite literally watching from Reaper drones. He watched that thing for hours. Mostly probably because it's probably the best live action movie anybody has ever seen. And I can't personally wait to see that said footage. But this man was doing everything he could to make sure that the American people stayed reasonably posted with information. Right. He's dealing with the Pakistanis who may at any point stab him in the back. China's gotten into the game now. How much do we love that? And people are like, we want him to sound presidential. Okay, I feel him on this. Keep acting up, I'm gonna punch you in the fucking face. Excuse my language, but this is basically what he said to them, right?
And Nicole, what you're saying, actually, I want you guys to take a listen here. So we all know Victor Davis Hanson. He's a historian, he's a conservative. Listen to his take on President Trump's tweet here. I have the clip here. Take a look at what he says. This is a different take perspective, but he provides some historical context.
Big ball there. What's your assessment?
Think we're seeing a deliberate replay of what we used to call the Nixon madman bomber, bad cop, good cop. And what I'm referring to is Nixon during the Yom Kippur War, but on other earlier occasions, 1973, and especially with Vietnam earlier in the Christmas bombing of 73 and earlier, he told his national security advisor, Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, to more or less tell in particular cases that would be the Egyptians and the Arabs that were fighting Israel and their Russian sponsors, as well as the North Vietnamese, that Kissinger was supposed to say, playing the role of Vance. Desperate to get a peace. I'm working for a madman. He's crazy. He's capable of anything. And then Nixon went to DEFCON 2 or maybe 3, DEFCON 3. And Kissinger says, I don't know how to control him. I do not know how, but I tell you, he means business. And it worked they got a settlement with the Egyptians. They saved the Egyptian Third Army in Israel, and then they had a Yom Kippur, and then that led to, Sadat and Begin, and then the same thing where they had the Christmas bombing, and then it didn't work out long term, but there was the peace. But I think that's what they're doing. And I think Trump is also saying, Vance is saying, I'm getting killed by my MAGA base. Mm-hmm. And Tucker wrote the other day that the empire was over. He's happy. The American empire is over. He said that. He said that Trump has given up on the empire. So apparently what he's saying is that the Candace and Trump and others' advocacies have materialized in real policy, and Trump has come over to his point of view. I guess that was the subtext. He didn't say that explicitly, but he said Trump has kind of shrugged his shoulders. And I think Vance then is going to play that role. It could be effective. I mean, he tells people, he can probably tell the Iranians, or he can tell the Europeans or the Gulf states or Israel. He said, Trump is so frustrated and you guys make fun of him and all this. He's under enormous pressure. So I don't know what he'll do. Can't we get this thing settled before we unleash him?
All right. Nicole, what are your thoughts there?
I think he's on to a little something for sure. But, well, I'm not going to say my thoughts on some of the other things he said, but I'll just say that I think he may be onto something. Again, this was a very intense time. And although the president has people who are watching videos for him, although he has all 5,000 members of that staff, grinding it out for him, make no mistake, it's his inner circle grinding it out for him. He's a very hands-on kind of guy, very, very much a hands-on kind of guy. KJ, you saw him earlier this year at the White House. Then you saw him giving a speech. Did he give the speech that they handed him to speak? Of course not. He said maybe the first 2 lines and then they put the paper in his pocket and was just speaking off the cuff. This is just who he is. He's a New Yorker. Do I wish that there were words that Iran and their leadership and the Pakistanis would have understood if he would have used, maybe a little bit more genteel language, maybe a little bit more presidential decorum? Do I think it would have gotten the same results? Absolutely not. Because they had words from Steve Wilkoff. They had words from Marco Rubio. They had words from J.D. Vance. They had words from Pete Hegseth. Very nice, soft words. Sometimes all a bully understands is their native tongue.
Yeah.
What do you think, Austin? Oh, go ahead, Shelley.
Oh, go ahead, Austin.
No, I was going to say, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I think that, the president does have a sharp tongue and sometimes it's necessary, but even, you can have sharp tongue and just know how to use it right. You can be more of a wordsmith. I get he's a New Yorker. I understand that you can't ask for apples from oranges, but there should always be a level of presidential decorum that is used, again, out of respect for the office itself. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Shelley, you can go and then please acknowledge the supers after.
Oh, yeah, I'll go. This is what I want to say. I think all of this has been so exacerbated by social media. We're talking about social media, but social media is also the contributor and the conclusion, if you will, the consequence, right? And I say this because the Nixon era and even before or even after that, up until maybe the last 10 years or so, give or take, we didn't have this much instant knowledge of what the president said, what the vice president, we didn't have it. We had to wait for, the news or the newspaper headlines to come out, the radio, AM radio. So I think, again, social media is a huge part of it. Would we all might want something different? Absolutely, to whatever degree or whoever the person may apply to. But this is what we have. And me, I'm a free speech person. I don't care if it's Trump, Tucker Carlson, Candace. Oh, I don't care. I will support. I want you to be able to say what you say. What you and me
both, because there's a quote I love. While I may never agree with what you say, while I may not agree with what you say, I'll defend to the death your right to say it. I'm the same way, 100%.
And let me add my caveat to that part, Austin. And I always add, and the people that I know are veterans, and because we actually stood in the gap for it, you better be damn sure that right is going to apply to us too. That's it.
Absolutely.
Right. But let me read the super chatters. Let's see what they have to say. Thank you, Paul, for joining us. Paul, hi, Paul. Thank you for $20 super chat. He says he just wants to support the show. Thank you so much, Paul. Good to see you. Gailey, is that Gailey? Thank you for your $2 super chat. Gally, do you think he should call out CEO about Erica? I guess. Who are they talking about? I don't know who they're talking about.
Do you think he should call out Candace Owens about Erica?
But who is the he? I don't know if the he is Austin or Trump. Yeah,
maybe Trump.
Okay.
Should I call out Candace?
Do you think Trump should call out Erica or see Candace Owens about Erica?
About the stuff that happened with Erica,
yeah. Do I think I should call out Candace Owens about Erica Kirk?
Do you think Trump should?
Listen. I think that. Oh, that's an interesting question. He's already done enough. He's already done enough. We'll just let it go at this point. Just let it go.
Okay. Susan, thank you for stopping by on your $5 super chat. Well, damn, sir. How much did you want him to accomplish in a year? Trust the process. This is for you, Austin, I guess. Have you seen the new bill Maria Salazar is putting forth? Absolutely. The Dignity Act. Yeah. And add to that, she put it forth, but Republicans and Democrats have signed it, and they should.
Inform me, what is the Dignity Act?
The Dignity Act it's basically a new asylum or amnesty bill. It's another version of the amnesty bill. Republicans and Democrats are signing it and sponsoring it or co-sponsoring it. And it's basically all these little fancy words for people can get amnesty again if you've been here for so long and all. It's another remake, and it's the same thing, tried and true, that we've done before, and we still keep getting more people here illegally. Susan, okay, that was your $5 super chat.
You ever notice how history keeps repeating itself when nothing is done about it? You see the pattern? Like, that's all I'm saying. Guys, at this point, if we don't see the pattern, we're just not paying attention. Social media can help everybody pay attention. Like the writing's on the wall. Hello.
Absolutely. Who's this? Mama. Thank you, Mama, for your $2 super chat. The states and cities destroy themselves with policy.
Without question.
Policy on top of policy. That's what we call bureaucracy. Thank you, Gailey or Gally. Thank you for your $2 chat again. Trump has earned our trust, in my opinion. Thank you for that. Mama, again, for your $2. Thank you. All the states and cities are not doing bad because of policy. I think I read that one, but thank you again. Wrinkle Brain, thank you for your $10 super chat. The president can walk and chew gum at the same time. Iran has been at war with us since 1979, and they are not bullshitting about nuking us. Thank you so much, Wrinkle Brain, for your $10. Josh, hi, Josh. Thank you for your $20 super chat. I love Israel more than most. They should take more territory to secure themselves, but their optics have been awful for Trump on this Iran war. Who made the state of Israel? The British. They still pulled the strings. Thank you, Josh. Good point. Good point, Josh. Wrinkle Brain, thank you for your $10 again. Hillary Clinton says she would totally obliterate Iran, and this never Trump fraud had no problem. Thank you.
Voted for him 3 times.
Go ahead. Okay, right.
3 times.
I voted for him 3 times, but I'm a Trump fraud.
Hold that thought, Austin, because that's a good point. It seems to be that it doesn't make a difference if you voted for Trump, you support most, but you might have a critique. It's like people won't call you names because you don't 100% agree with whatever point it is. But you're right. It doesn't matter. It seems like it doesn't matter. Tony, thank you for your $10 super chat. Very cordial, engaging four-way. There you go, Austin. Very cordial, engaging four-way dialogue. See how the comments go back and forth on here too, Austin. Mama, again, thank you for your $2 super chat. Trump isn't a real politician, so he plays his hand. Okay, all right, thank you, Mama. Susan, thank you for your $5. I love you, Nicole.
Oh, thank you, Susan. I dropped that F-bomb. I was like, no.
Kung Fu Steve. There you go, Nicole.
He was like, what?
Gailey, thank you for your $5 super chat. His non-traditional hate behavior, talking about Trump, is exactly why we voted him in. That's how he got hostages home. This is the negative flip side of what we like about him. Okay. All right, Gailey. Thank you for that. Josh, again, thank you for your $20. Absolutely. We need a hard turn to domestic issues. Look at how the cabinet has supported the president, from JD to Marco to Tulsi, Hegseth, and Scott Bessent. They are preparing big wins for President Trump. Thank you, Josh.
Very
Thank
true.
you for stopping in again. Wow. Thank you all for your super chat. That super chat run was so fun. Thank you all. Hit the like, share, and subscribe. Keep the comments coming. Austin is here. We are all here to stay on or stand on our square, as they say. So
yeah, and as Shelly said, that super chat run was fun. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. All right, we got the merch here.
Listen, the production team just giving me prompts all night. I'm loving it. Thank you, production. It is time again for me to talk to you about our merch. Okay, we had the whole Al Sharpton, don't do A250. You ought to buy a shirt just to prove him wrong. Celebrate this nation's birthday. We've come very far together, and there's no reason to turn back now. Except April 15th is coming. And if you don't want your money going back to another Somali daycare or perhaps a California hospice with no patients, get you a Give Me My Money Back t-shirt and maybe come into Washington, D.C. and hang out in front of the IRS building when they're all going out for lunch. It'll send them a strong message. Just don't put your name on it so they can, get you later, right? So I'm just joking. Get your shirt. April 15th is quickly upon us, but if you can't get it by April 15th, this is also something that you could wear in a politically mixed crowd. This is a sentiment that most Americans have when we hear about the waste, fraud, and abuse of our tax dollars. Give me my money back. The American people can do much more good for our own nation with our own money rather than endless bureaucrats and these, NGOs and all of these non-governmental organizations that have unfettered access to our tax dollars. So this is a great way to support the channel. Get yourself a shirt. You'll look good. Post a picture and we'll show it on the show.
All right, folks. All right. Well, final thoughts on this whole topic here. Me of all of us, I can't speak for Austin, but y'all know that I used to talk about President Trump. I would critique him. Even when he was elected the first time, I had issues with some of the things he said during his campaign. I was the one. All right. However, I'm not here to pretend he is flawless, because he's not. Right. He's flawed. He's messy. Right. He's made mistakes. I agree. He has made mistakes. But let's get something straight. When this country was teetering on the edge of Marxism, all right, I mean, literally, Biden, the first person he brought to the White House, first two people, was trans, what was the name? Mulvaney and Cardi B, all right? We were on the edge of a Marxist shift. Trump was one of the last ones to defend us. He stood in the gap. I'm just not ready to throw in the towel yet. I'm not ready to give up. And I'm certainly not joining the opposition that's led by Tucker Carlson, as they call him online, and Candace Owens. I'm just not. All right. These people are not America first. All right. They're not Christian first. They're not Bible first. Okay. And so I'm not, whatever they're going, I'm going the opposite way. And so, that's just what I have to say about it. We have this clip here, and I didn't even know this until today. You have Tucker Carlson. Now, you all know, I actually know many countries, you cannot buy property in these countries unless you either have some type of dual citizenship or you have connected with the government and they have said it's okay. Tucker Carlson owns property in Qatar. Take a look. This is clip 2.
This very simple so somebody with your ignorance can understand. And here's the proof that you, Tucker Carlson, and many other news outlets in the United States have been bought and paid for by Qatari government to spread their own Islamic propaganda.
الصحفيين كانوا على البيرول مالنا، شلون كنا ندفع لهم؟ بعضهم صاروا نواب الآن وبعضهم صاروا وطنيين. أعرفهم أنا في دول كثيرة كانوا ندفع لهم، يعني نشرحهم كل سنة، وفي ناس لهم مرتبات. كان في ذاك كل الدول العربية كانت تعمله. شو أنت فكرك مش الكل ولكن الأغلبية.
When claiming the uprising in Iran is driven by Israel or United States, understand this clearly. You're not only wrong, you're putting Iranian lives in danger. Iranians are not rising because of foreign influence. They're rising because they're living under an oppressive regime that arrests, tortures, and kills its own people, including children. Iranians do not need anyone from outside to tell them to resist. The danger is not the insult to Iranian agency. We can endure that. The danger is the consequence of the narrative you're repeating. When the Iranian regime executes protesters, it does not admit they were demanding freedom. It calls them foreign agents, Zionist spies, CIA, Mossad-backed. These accusations are the justification used in courts, prisons, and execution orders. When you repeat the claims that this movement is foreign-driven, you're echoing the regime's own propaganda. You're giving it an international cover. You're signaling that the world would accept the claim that these young people were spies and not citizens fighting for dignity and their human rights. Remember, teenagers, students, young women and men, their lives are at stake.
So, I mean, he said it. I mean, they're using talking points. They're showing Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson's videos in these Iran and other Islamic states, you know, as propaganda. They're using their voices to spread these lies. So I just can't see some type of clarity or, you know, Candace Owens and Tucker are standing up for the real America first people. I won't accept that. I can't accept it. I just don't.
So that clip we saw, I didn't see. You said something about property. I didn't understand that clip. Where was the property part?
Well, Tucker Carlson announced himself back in 2025 that he bought property in Doha, Qatar.
Okay,
he purchased it. He has a home there. And folks, that's a major issue. That's a major issue. You can't buy a home in Qatar and not be working with their government. It just doesn't happen.
The only thing I say again, I didn't vote for Tucker Candace. I don't care. I don't even know why all this matters. You don't. I don't agree with. I'm saying I don't agree with them or whatever. I don't care. I just think we're consuming so much time on them when we do have other real issues that need to be dealt with and that we could focus on. Granted, I'm not saying don't debate them. I'm not saying don't dispute them. I'm not saying that at all. Again, freedom of speech. My whole argument is that even if someone, like Austin mentioned earlier, even if someone on the right, a Trump supporter, comes out and says, hey, I disagree with Trump on this point, I'm not throwing away the baby with the bathwater. Today's climate means that almost everybody who's still MAGA or America First, they want to throw stones at that person. You know, you're a traitor, you're this and that. No, it's just that you might disagree, and that's okay, because my contention is that if it was someone else in office, particularly a Democrat, we would hold them to that same standard.
All right. Well, based off of what you're saying, you know, it looks like most people, at least on the conservative side or in the MAGA movement, are not falling for it. New poll out today from CNN talks about this very thing. I believe we have, this is clip 5, is it?
Between the president and Tucker Carlson among these voters? What do they basically say?
Yeah, they choose Donald Trump basically every single time. Look at this. Okay, the exact same poll, this UMass Lowell poll. Look at this. Net favorables among Republicans. Again, this is Republicans plus Republican-leaning independents. You see Carlson on the right side of your screen at +7 points. Look at where Donald Trump is at +61 points. And this is actually a little bit low for Donald Trump. In other polls around the same time, he was even higher than this. Again, he is crushing Tucker Carlson. What is this? This is a 54-point advantage for Donald Trump over Tucker Carlson when it comes to who is more popular among Republican voters. And of course, this isn't even just talking about the MAGA base, where Donald Trump is running an approval rating somewhere between 97 and 100%.
Okay.
All right. What are your thoughts there, Austin?
I think the president is still doing a good enough job to maintain control of his base. But I mean, I'm not going to see, the thing with me is I don't really care about Tucker Carlson's religious opinions. I don't trust him or Candace Owens for theology. You know, I'm one of those chew the meat, take the meat, spit the bones out kind of people. Candace is a Catholic. The ontology of Candace Owens, her ontological worldview, her theological worldview don't line up with mine. When she's right, in my opinion, I'm going to say she's right. And when she's wrong, I'm going to like, lady, you're batshit crazy. Get away from me. Same thing with Tucker Carlson. I am not, you can't, I've watched Tucker Carlson say some things I just blatantly disagree with, to say the least. And so I don't take everything Tucker says, with more than a grain of salt or Candace. And so that's why, I mean, that explains why Trump is going to maintain a very high net favorable rating over Carlson. People like Trump more than them. I mean, we trust Trump. Trump is running the country right now. You have the MAGA base that will stay behind him through thick and thin. And I'm one of those Republican-leaning independents, populists, if you will, that would still support the president over Tucker Carlson, for sure. I think Candace Owens and Tucker, when they're right, they're right. They're wrong, they're wrong. They've been wrong a whole lot more than they've been right. We've seen that. So,
All right. Yeah. Nicole, are you had something to say?
Yeah. So in that last clip, with the gentleman from Iran, he made a very interesting point in that clip, was that he needed the world to stop saying that the United States and Israel and other foreign countries are encouraging the youth uprising. And the reason why he needed people to stop doing that was because when they are caught by their own government, by the Iranian government, and they're being slaughtered, it's because they're saying that you're a spy for America. You've turned your back on the Iranian people and you're following Israel. You're following these other nations. And that is their reasoning for killing them. I mean, can you even imagine? Can you imagine? We're trying to help. We're doing our best to try to help these young people. That we even talked about it on the show before. And I was saying, listen, go out there. This is your country. Fight for your country. Man, boy, I could not live with myself if I thought those words were the words that their crazy government used to kill them. I mean, it gives us all pause to kind of be very careful with our words, because if they're using our words of support to kill the youth of their nation, maybe the world should stop talking about it.
Listen, Nicole, I'm sorry, Kate, I know you're trying to finish this thing. Now, I took that the opposite way from that man speaking. I actually thought that what he was saying was some propaganda, because number one, he's telling people to be quiet. Okay, this is America. Number one, we do have freedom of speech. That's number one. Yeah. Number two, Iran has slaughtered their own people well before Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens came along. So what was the reasons before? Because maybe they didn't wear hijab, or maybe they didn't come out the house with a male family member, whatever. So I took some of what he was saying just as much as propaganda.
Well, he wasn't talking about Tucker and Candace using their words. He was just talking about words generally, anything that they were seeing when they had the internet, saying, oh, they're saying that you're an American spy, that you're working with the Americans. All of these young people who are out here protesting are working with the Americans, or working for the Mossad. That is, it, again, not our fault, because I 100%, like I said before, I stand on freedom of speech, and your right to disagree with me. Will fight to the death to defend your right to disagree with me. But as a Christian person, it gives me pause that my words of support has given your crazy ass leaders the opportunity to mow you down, like trash in the street. That is horrific. That is absolutely horrific. And it flies in the face of everything as Americans that we know. You can go out right now and start screaming and hollering at Trump. You could be Marjorie Taylor Greene, you know, be on The View and shake your fist at the president. You can do all of that. Nobody's going to put a bullet in you.
Well, I mean, folks, we can't, I keep saying this over and over again. We are in a new era. All right. And as much as, you know, you may want to say, oh, these people are just social media influencers, folks, this stuff it really matters. It does. I mean, you have another country, China, who is using a social media platform, TikTok, to create and transform the younger generation. Mm-hmm. And as much as you all say, you know, oh, it's working.
I wouldn't say that
it's a major tool. They use it to the point that they're using it one way here and another way in their country. And that's just one thing. I mean, we can't sit here and say that these social media influencers don't matter. Now, do they matter in the way that maybe, you know, some people are suggesting? Maybe not, but they do matter. If they didn't matter, then we wouldn't. This last election was proof when we saw the candidates going on social media platforms and influencers more than they did mainstream media. So we have to look at this differently. And this is why, as you said, Austin, it is very important to have counter points to some of these people. This is what we do. You know, I'm never for silencing, never for, you know, censoring or anything like that. But I'm not going to sit here and discount their audience or their voices when they're being paid millions to do it, not by both sides.
Right. I mean, again, you know, that's one of those things where you chew the meat, spit out the bones. And when someone is lying and when they say something that's completely untrue, if you make money off of something, you need to be held accountable for that something. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, content creators, everyone that gets on the internet should have a duty to tell the truth, you know, not fabricate things for financial purposes or financial gain. You know, the purpose of the action of just falsifying information for financial gain. And I mean, it goes back to something the Bible said, the love of money is the root of all evil. So you have to call out nonsense when it's nonsense.
Yeah, absolutely. Folks, we are fighting no longer is the war in the physical realm. There's a war for the mind. The war of the mind is we
wrestle not against flesh and blood, right?
Isn't that
what the book says?
Yes, it does.
We're in the midst of that now. And that's really what all of this really, when you honestly look at what is going on with the country, whether you like it or not, and I'm going to say this, that 2,000 plus year old book that no one wants to pick up and read, some of the things written, or a lot of the things written in there are coming to pass before our very eyes.
Absolutely.
So but that doesn't mean that you're called to not still fight. It doesn't mean you're not called to still tell the truth and stand up and be that voice crying out in the wilderness. This is spiritual warfare, whether you like it or not. The spread, and I want to make this clear, the spread of radical Islam and the spread of Marxism and communism are dangerous things to the sovereignty of the United States of America. And any politician or any government system that does not keep that at the forefront of their thought process does not need to be an elected official in our government. Period.
All right.
All right. I think we have some.
Please, Austin, tell our audience where they can find you on all your social media.
I'm on TikTok at Real Austin Off Script, Instagram at Austin Off Script, and YouTube Austin Off Script.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, this is your first time coming. Yeah, your first time here. We really appreciate you taking the time out, coming on here to chat with us on Pop and Politics.
Thank you, Austin.
Honored to be here. Thank you, guys.
All right, bye.
Good evening.
We have a few super chatters here. Jessica's back again.
Jessica, I haven't seen you in a while.
I know, right? For your $5 super chat, you can't solve domestic issues until you solve international issues. People should start taking responsibility for and solve their own problems. Thank you, Jessica, for that.
Thank you, Jessica.
Also, Jessica, again, for your $2 super chat, stop laying your hangups on everyone but yourself. Okay, thank you, Jessica. Kung Fu CJ, thank you for your $5 super chat. What is happening now is prophetic. God is in control. Thank you all for your super chatters. We love the comments, you guys, all over the place. So we thank you for your support. Whether you're again pro, nay, yay, whatever, con, we love the comments. We love it. Make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell also. And again, go to our Discord and metroconservativemedia.com for your one-stop shopping.
Absolutely. And again, here's our merch. We're pushing, folks. We're pushing the merch because, spring has sprung. At least here in Maryland, spring has sprung. At least today, spring has sprung. I don't know what it's going to do tomorrow, but today
it's supposed to beat up. Oh my gosh. All next week, it's going to be in the 80s, possible 90s.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's ridiculous. I'm not ready.
That's a lie. I know.
I'm not trying to live that life. KJ.
No, not you. I'm talking the weather's playing games with us.
Oh, I love it.
It's
love
Maryland's
it.
second fake spring. That's what it is.
Oh, I love it. I can't wait. Bring it on.
Ooh,
I want to show some arm.
Let me tell you. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. No, ma'am, Pam. I need all of the seasons. Let's not just jump right into the dog days of summer. Good grief. Too hot. But get your merch now. Get your merch now while there's still merch to get. And again, it's a great way to support the channel. What we had tonight was robust debate.
Right.
And see how exhilarating it is, whether you agree or disagree. Austin brought his point of view and all the facts that supported his point of view. Whether we agree with him, and for the most part, we agree with a lot of what he said or not. It is the debate process, the thinking process. That is the process that we should embrace as Americans on almost everything. And again, if we match up 80%, I'm calling it a win. Let's keep it real. We should not be walking in lockstep and agreeing with every single thing anyone says outside of Jesus Christ. My personal opinion.
Absolutely. It was a great conversation. I loved it.
Absolutely.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I like him very much.
Yes, indeed. Folks, you got to tomorrow, check out Just the Guys podcast at Just the Guys podcast at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They will be on bringing you a male perspective on the news and pop culture. You do not want to miss it. They have a live show. You can all join in. They actually bring up panelists sometimes. So great way to get your voice heard. Go on over there and subscribe. And if you're subscribed, they'll pull you onto the panel. That's at Just the Guys podcast. And then on Sunday, you can catch me and Michelle at KJ Christian Conservative. We are talking about the latest in news and pop culture from a biblical perspective. We had a live show on Thursday. That's still up. Definitely check it out. And we'll see you on Sunday. All right, folks. So, we got another super chatter here.
Yes. Patricia, thank you for your $5 super chat. Patricia is also a member of our Freedom Seekers Club. It looks like Patricia might be a new person. I've never seen her name, but thank you and welcome. Tucker, Candace, and Megyn are trying to help Democrats win midterms. Thank you so much, Patricia, for stopping by.
Yep, totally.
But listen, folks, don't be discouraged when you hear the mainstream media and folks going on and on about Republican infighting. The Democrats have been fighting since November of last year, and it's not gotten good. First AOC was their hope. They pinned all their stuff on her. And then she went abroad and put both of her feet in her mouth and wiggled her toes around. So it wasn't going to be her. Then it was Abigail. I call the CIA agent Spamberger. She was the next wave, her and the new governor in New Jersey. This was going to be the second wave, except for these ladies turned out to be Trojan horses. And people in Virginia can't stand her. Virginia, you only get one term. She's polling lower than the last 5 or 6 governors. Yeah. And she said, well, everybody likes me because they're putting me on mailers. The mailers talk about how much people hate her. So, from whatever eye she's looking at it from the wrong perspective. But they're fighting because Jasmine Crockett, who was their heir apparent, she was going to be sassy black girl. She's gone. AOC's an idiot and everybody knows it. Virginia's got the CIA agent, can't do nothing with it. Wes Moore, the boy wonder, has a new series of articles that are about to come out about him at the Baltimore Sun that the world is anxiously awaiting for. He's already trying to get ahead of it, and they haven't even reported one bad thing about him yet. But from what I understand, it's going to change some minds about who people think he is. All of this Democrat infighting brought to you by anybody but the mainstream media. You'll never hear this on CBS. You'll never hear it on ABC. They're pulling each other's hair out, folks. So when you see us pushing and shoving a little bit on our side of the aisle, just understand it happens everywhere. There's no reason to panic. No reason to panic.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right, Nicole. All right, folks, we're going to end on a sweet note tonight. We wanted to share this feel-good story. Oh my gosh, just to take you all into the weekend. An 18-year-old Chick-fil-A worker found nearly $10,000 in the bathroom. And take a look at what he did with it. This is clip 4.
It up and I brought it to Human Resources.
The money was inside 2 envelopes when he found it. I asked him why he didn't just keep the money for himself.
But that's not what Jesus would have done. That's not what God would have wanted.
Centron said his faith guides his thought process.
Money is useless without character.
Kinston Police Chief Keith Goyette said it's amazing that Centron did what he knew was right.
A lot of people will unfortunately take that money and run with it, but kudos to that employee at Chick-fil-A. Definitely deserves an award.
Mm-hmm. Wow. All right. There you have it. Folks, we will see you on Monday night. Until next time, count your blessings and live a life of purpose. Good night.
Good night.
Bye, everybody.